So in this video, I'll be giving you 6 major tips to be a good competitive programmer and one extra bonus tip for those who want to compete in ACM ICPC. Tip number 1. Type code faster. No kidding guys, most of you have ignored this skill as you may have not found that much relation between coding and typing. But I must tell you, when you have solved the same number of problems as your opponent, speed matters there. Or when you won't be able to code a last minute brute force solution properly, you will definitely get frustrated with that. I have seen many times that the ith rank and the I plus 1th rank may have the same coding abilities, but they are distinct in their typing. So at least make your typing speed 65 words per minute. I have given the link in the description, so start practicing today onwards. Tip number 2. Quickly identify problem type. Get familiar with lots and lots of different topics, techniques and different types of question by doing as many different problems as you can. Don't focus on just a single topic. Do as many varieties as you can. Believe me, 90% of the cases you'll faster came up with the solution if you recognize the type correctly by just reading the problem statement. Otherwise, you'll just take your time understanding what is happening in the question, how to approach it. Tip number 3. Do algorithm analysis. I'll be making an in-depth video in this topic later on as it requires so much knowledge on which part you have to focus on while analyzing your algorithm. I'll just brief out the main focus point in this tip. Some of you might think, but isn't it the first thing we do when we read a question? Yeah, I know it's common with the pros, but for you, maybe not. Maybe most of you just read the problem and start designing the algorithm or logic for that. But before doing that, ask these questions first. Given the input constraint, that is the size of the input variable, what could be the worst time complexity you can came up with and still get your solution accepted? Those who didn't know how to calculate time complexity either, you can leave a comment down below if you want my video on that, or you can just learn from any other resources. Getting back to the topic, after analyzing what the worst time complexity you can came up with, you should start your approach with a brute force solution. How you can solve it, think of as many approaches as you can and then select the algorithm that is the simplest solution that works, that is enough to pass the time and memory limit. So always remember, don't just jump directly to the question or to the solution. First do the analysis. What are the bounds? What are your boundaries to create an algorithm first? Then approach the solution. Tip number 4. Mastering a programming language. Many of you have already learned 2 or 3 languages, but do you already have in-depth knowledge in one of them? I would personally recommend C++ as your first language for competitive programming, as it provides many inbuilt features with it. You can get yourself familiarized with Java as well, as there are few things which can be done in Java easily compared to C++. Example, if you want to calculate 25 factorial, it would be so big that you can't even store its answer in a normal long int variable in C++. You have to do some extra work to store it, but it can be done easily with Java using a big integer class. Tip number 5. Master the art of testing code. I have personally suffered a lot when I have submitted my solution and it got a wrong answer in a hidden test cases. Rather than wasting submission and getting penalties, I would recommend to design a tricky test cases for your test for testing your code if you are not 100% sure of your solution. Some tips to design a good test case are: first, your test case should include the sample test cases as it guarantees to be correct. Avoid manual comparison as humans are prone to errors. For problems with multiple test cases in a single run, you should include two identical sample test cases simultaneously in same run, both should output the same. You should include corner cases, example the worst input you can get or some exceptional input that your algorithm may have missed. Example, sometimes we are given n equals to 0 or n equals to 1, the starting value of n. Our algorithm may have not functioned in these because they are exceptional to our logic. So implement these 4 steps and design your test cases to get a tricky test case for testing your code, and then submit your solutions so you won't get a wrong answer again and again. Tip number 6. Practice and practice more. Competitive programmers are real athletes, must train regularly and each day extending your limit. That is the number of questions done by you. It's as simple as you hear it, but it's consume a lot of your effort and you need lot of motivation to do it. If you have already started doing competitive programming, then I must suggest don't give up until you reach the level you have always wanted to be. Even I am still doing everyday competitive programming, doing questions that are difficult to me, doing questions that are one level ahead of my knowledge, so I can get better and better again. So for the last extra tip for my ICPC fans is that I would suggest including all these 6 tips I have mentioned. You have to work extra on your teamwork. First, practice coding on a blank paper. This is useful when your teammate is using system. It will benefit for you as well because it's easy to write and append in paper. You will get an extra bonus for this habit of yours in a technical interview as well. The submit and print strategy. If your code get accepted, ignore it. Otherwise, do the debugging in the printout. Debugging without a system is not an easy skill to master, so do practice. Prepare harder test case for your teammate while he is coding. And the last but the most important, befriend your teammates outside of training session and contest. So guys, quickly follow these steps to get started. Like and subscribe my channel for further competitive development videos. For the beginners, if you didn't get even a single term I have mentioned in the video, comment it down. I'll clarify there or explain it in my another video in depth. This channel is for you guys, grow fast, so utilize it to the fullest. Thank you.